Hello there, Leo. Thank you so much for stopping by for your weekly tarot video forecast for the week of June 20th through the 26th. What I have coming up for you guys on Monday is the Nine of Clubs in reverse. Nine of Clubs in reverse is telling me that you're feeling kind of unprepared for something. There's something that you want to be ready for, but you're just not quite there. Not sure if it's just not getting all the supplies for it. It really feels more like not feeling like maybe you know enough to make a good impression. So maybe you're doing an interview or maybe you're doing a presentation, and you're trying to pass along some information to people so that they can take some kind of action. And it feels to me like you're just nervous about not actually knowing enough information to do what you're setting out to do here. Just feeling very unprepared on Monday. On Tuesday, and of course, let me back up, this is a general reading, so first of all, not everything that I say is going to apply to every single Leo. But then also, if you do feel energy coming in that doesn't feel so good to you, like for me, not feeling prepared for something does not feel good. So if you've got a card like that that comes up, then maybe you want to build some time into your schedule for you to prepare. Maybe you want to build some time into your schedule to just make sure you're going over the last details one more time, or doing a little bit more research, or whatever it is that you think you may need to do to prepare for this thing that you may be feeling unprepared for on Monday. Now Tuesday, what we have coming up is the Strength card for you Leos. And the Strength card just means that you're feeling pretty good about yourself. You're feeling comfortable in your own skin. You're in a good place as far as accepting not only the good things about you, for some people that's the challenge, but also the not so hot things about you. And for other people, that's the challenge, to admit, oh, I do have this part that's not so hot. So it can be a challenge either way, but when this card comes up, this tells me that whichever way it happens to be a challenge for you, you're handling it pretty well on Tuesday. You're feeling pretty comfortable with who you are. Now, on Wednesday, what we have showing up is the Two of Swords. And the Two of Swords is just telling me you do have a decision to make on Wednesday. A lot of times when Two of Swords comes up, this can be a decision about a person or about people. This can be deciding between two different people or two different groups of people. And this can also be a decision about how you want to handle a situation with one particular person. And I do feel like for different ones of you, it's going to come in different ways there. So about a 50-50 split on that. But I would say for most of you, this decision does have to do with people, and it has to do with relationships and will be impacting your relationships. So you're already trying to make this decision as fairly as possible. I'm sure you'll do a good job with that. On Thursday, Leos, Eight of Swords showing up in reverse. Now the Eight of Swords in reverse is just telling me that on Thursday, you have this new understanding come in about something that has sort of been holding you back for a while. You had, you had a thought pattern that had sort of been holding you back, or a way of looking at something that had kept you from moving forward. But on Thursday, you have this new perspective that comes in. You're starting to see things in a different light, and all of a sudden, you see how to make the situation into something that actually is not so bad after all, maybe even good. All right, so let's look at Friday. Friday, we do have the Three of Cups showing up in reverse. And the Three of Cups in reverse just means that there's some kind of third-party interference going on in your life. A lot of times when I see this, this has to do with friends. Maybe you have a friend that doesn't really think you should be handling something the way you're handling it, and they are just stepping right up to the plate to tell you all about it. This could be a friend of a spouse putting in their 2 cents worth about how you're handling something, and sort of, kind of whispering in your spouse's ear about, well, she should be handling it this way. Why isn't she doing that? That type of thing. This can also be something where you have somebody whispering in your ear. Maybe your friend should be doing it this way, or, if your spouse really loved you, they would be handling such and such this way. Third-party interference, it just is what it is. It's third party. Usually, two parties have business dealing with whatever's going on between two parties, and a third party is like extra. They have no business being in there. They've crossed over the line. They're not even in their own territory at that point. So I would say take any third-party interference with a grain of salt, especially if it's somebody coming to you about someone significant in your life. You know, just take that with a grain of salt. Realize, you know, okay, look at where this is coming from and think about, okay, how well do I know the person that they're talking about, and how well does this person know the person that they're talking about? Because I can certainly tell you, if somebody came and whispered in my ear about my significant other, I would be like, excuse me? I don't think you know what you think you know. You need to step off. And that's kind of what I'm getting here. Like, there's just this is some pot stirring energy that this third party is bringing in. Just stirring up trouble just because they can. And for most of you, I do feel like this is a she that's stirring up the trouble. So just be aware, you know, shut it down ahead of time. If you can get up in front of it and shut it down ahead of time, go ahead and do that. You know, and if you don't get it shut down ahead of time, if it kind of sideswipes, you just realize, you know, it is what it is. It's third party. It has no basis in the situation at all. All right, so let's move forward. Saturday, Wheel of Fortune shows up in reverse. I'm just looking at this card, seeing what I can feel here. Let's see. This really is just telling me that there's something going on that you would really like to happen on Saturday, but it's just bad timing. Like, there may be somebody, for an example, that you want to take out to eat for their birthday, but they're not feeling so hot, and they really would not enjoy that on Saturday. So it's just bad timing. This is not anything that like feels super huge to me. This feels like something that you can just reschedule pretty easily and go ahead and still have just as much fun at the new rescheduled time. But just Saturday probably is not going to be the time. So expect that if you have something planned for Saturday, that there may be some kind of little monkey wrench that's thrown into that. And just, you know, be relaxed about it and just reschedule. It's all good. Everything happens for a reason. On Sunday, what we have coming up is the Magician. The Magician is a really good card. It talks about making those things happen in your life that you've been wanting to happen in your life. Really, it's like the Master Manifestor card. So I feel like for some of you, you're going to be getting some things that you've been wanting in your life and you kind of didn't know how they were going to come in, but you've been still daydreaming about them anyway. Maybe you've been working some law of attraction tricks about whatever this is. And it just kind of shows up. This does have a very magical feel about it. Being the Magician, I guess it should, but this is the first time I've actually got a magical feel on the Magician card. But it does feel like there's something that you've been wanting that kind of comes to you more or less out of the blue on Sunday. So that's always fun. Be interesting to see what that is. Some of you already know as you're watching this video what that is because you've been wanting the same thing for a long time. Anyway, Leos, that's your week. Thank you so much for stopping by, for hanging out, for liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting. I do appreciate all of your support. Everyone have a fantastic, fantastic week, and I'll see you back here the next time. Peace out.